Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your one and only Step Bro, reviewing the 268 version 4. This vehicle feels to me like a big, giant disappointment. It was overhyped during test because it was OP during test, and now Wargaming has released a heavily nerfed version of the 268 version 4. Is it still good? I'd say it's average. It is like your Jagdpanzer E100 Badger, the slower, heavily armored TDs, but this time with 5 degrees of gun depression instead of the Badger or the Jagdpanzer's, higher amounts of gun depression. The traverse speed is abysmal. The mobility of the vehicle is also abysmal. Is it really worth spending your hard-earned gold for this vehicle? I would say not. But if you want to spend for 3 crates for 4,000 gold, the cheap option, go ahead and try it if you want. But I don't honestly think it's worth it to spend for this vehicle. As you will see during our review, we will discuss the weaknesses of this vehicle. Not much pros to the vehicle, but we will discuss it both, all the same. So looking at the vehicle, we are looking at enormous amounts of the frontal armor, 260, which translates to about 400 to 500 millimeters on your upper plate, and about 320 to 340 on your bottom plate. And that is when you're running armor buff. Other things you should note are the low camo values. You're close enough to a mouse. That's how bad your camo values are. Your DPM is at 2700, 15.5 second reload, 278 AP pen. That is one of the lowest for a TD. I think it's the lowest. I'm not exactly sure. Gun traverse goes on only 10 degrees left and right, and you only have 5 degrees of gun depression. Power weight ratio is also very, very low. I think it's the lowest one in tier 10. You're close enough to a mouse, 15.2. For your consumables, you can run reactive armor. That is an option. I personally don't, but you may want to run reactive armor with adrenaline, but that's completely up to you. Now, for the equipment, I highly suggest running calibrated shells. So if you're low penetration values, you really need calibrated shells. As a TD, with a long reload, with a big derpy shell, you don't want to bounce. And with this vehicle's horrendous gun handling, you really don't want to bounce. You want to get every single bit of penetration that you can, just make sure you can hit or you can penetrate. And yes, run refined gun, because running 0.04 dispersion on this thing is like running a KV2 in tier 10. Good luck hitting your shots. Pareto's Stalin for your shots to hit. Option A, you can also run Camo Net. They slightly increase your camo values to about 42. Not that much, but you can also run improved optics if you're playing as a heavy front lining for 277 millimeters, which is pretty average for a heavy. But I would say I would still get the Camo Net, because at the start of the game, you still want to try and snipe before you, or stay at the back, second line, before you YOLO in with your heavies, push with your heavies. And now coming with our favorite part on any test, the speed test. Now we're running this with a WarZ113 GFT against the 268 version 4. Just shows you a vehicle that's already as slow as the 268 version 4. That's the closest thing we can find. Every other vehicle basically outpaces the 268 version 4. The WarZ113 is slightly faster in acceleration at 17 with a 17 horsepower per ton, but does get up to 38 kilometers per hour. The 268 version 4 is about 5-6 seconds slower in this speed test, but you get the drift. In a traverse test, yeah, we're just running circles around this 268 version 4. Do not get circled by mediums. Be aware of your positioning before you get circled, because you cannot traverse. Now this is the much vaunted armor test. We're going to start out with the E50M at a distance of about 150 meters. We're running calibrated shells, and you can see we're cutting through the 268 version 4's hatch. The vehicle does have its weak, good spots, like a medium with 268 millimeters of pen, 258, sorry, cannot cut through any part of the vehicle, except for the hatch, and maybe on the sides. As you can see, we are just, it's totally red. However, the moment we switch to to heat, to Premo, we can now shoot the upper plate. Okay? And in certain angles, if you angle too much to the left or right, we can shoot that edge, that small edge in the corner, we can shoot that. And that is very, very bad for the vehicle. Now we're going to go for a face hug, just to show you that, yes, the engine deck, you can actually go through it with an E50M on certain angles, but most likely what you're going to do if you're ending up face hugging in 260 version 4 on a medium running calibrated shells, you would load heat and you would start shooting the face of the vehicle. There's no other way around it, and that's the only way you can pen other than the hatch. If you're wiggling a bit with a 268, you may bounce the E50M, but it's not that reliable. Next vehicle we're going to take a look at is a 60 TP. With running calibrated shells on 60 TP, and you can see that you can penetrate the hatch as always, and now you're opening up the roof of the vehicle to be penned. Your gun's not that accurate, maybe unless you're using a Yo or Concept 1B or something. But generally, using an i7, 60 TP, something that's typical for most players, E100, yeah, let's just not, So your AP shells will still have a hard time penetrating the 268 version 4, but once you load Premo, you can see you can pen the cheeks, you can pen the lower plate, still the hatch and the roof opens up the world's possibilities for you. And the next vehicle we're looking at is the vehicle with the highest amount of pen in the game, the Hori Type 3 Tier 10 vehicle. We're doing this from a meter distance of 200 meters. That's your typical sniping distance. You can see that the vehicle is easily pennable on the hatch. The roof is pennable, it's just me not really getting those shots to connect. But again, once you load Premo, this vehicle will just open up completely. Especially with a vehicle like the Hori, you have over 370 millimeters of pen on your premium AP, which translates to about 400 something millimeters of AP raw penetration. Yeah, 260 version 4s will not have a good time with you. You can literally see that the vehicle, or for some vehicles that are tall enough, they can shoot down your engine deck and kill you. Just warning you. Camo warning. You have to be aware that when you do get spotted, especially with an LT100, you cannot spot them back. This is 250 meters with an LT100, and I can perma spot the 268 version 4 if it gets spotted. Gun handling. Okay, this part we are using a 268 version 4 against another 268 version 4. Typical sniping distance. This is why I don't think this vehicle is meant to snipe. You're meant to brawl up front. It's just that you don't really have that reliable armor. Don't have that speed. Yeah, that bad traverse speed as well. It will be a struggle to bring your gun to bear against the enemies, but if you do and you're able to do it, you can make the vehicle work. But it is not the easiest vehicle to use. And as you can see with this thing, gun handling is atrocious. Now, this is a very short cut down replay of how I'm using the 268 version 4 in a game. You try to wiggle after you shoot or before you shoot when you're trying to not get shot, and you can generate some bounces. But like this E6, he's gonna aim in, he can shoot your hatch straight through. So don't exactly rely on getting people to bounce you. You do have good armor, but people who load Premo or just has a better angle on you can shoot down on you. 2, you have to completely aim in your shot. With your amount of gun dispersion, you just have to aim in. There is no other way. Plus, you have really, really bad shell velocity like a 268. I'm actually contemplating running supercharger in the vehicle. Again, you have to remember the gun traverse limits. You only have 10 degrees to the left and 10 degrees to the right. Also, you have 5 degrees of gun depression. So, like, looking at this T22 medium, we have to push in so far just to land a shot on him. And mind you, I'm literally pre-aimed completely on this T22 medium before I even push up. And there's no ifs and buts about it, because that's the only way you're going to even hit your shots, even at this close distance. But try to stay front line, or in my case, I was front line. And even this 103, right? You can see how long it takes for me to aim in. If I wasn't pre-aimed, probably will miss a shot. You get shot on the side, you get shot on your tracks, you will probably get tracked and you get damage. Even the shot, I honestly did not know how to hit. That's probably lucky, but that would have missed if I did not aim in. So please, literally try to aim in. And again, Hori, right? Hori will not have a problem using AP to penetrate your upper plate or your face. And that's it for the review, boys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, leave a like and please subscribe. Step Bro signing out.